Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. On behalf of Islamic Relief, I welcome you all on this very informative and inspirational discussion by Dr. Hany El Banna, founder of Islamic Relief. For the formal opening, for the recitation of Holy Quran, I would like to invite Dr. Mr. Sheikh Baloch to come on stage for the recitation of Holy Quran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد صدق الله العظيم.
For the opening remarks, I would like to invite Country Director Islamic Relief Pakistan, Brother Umair Hassan Ghazi.
Can you change the image? You change the image, this one? It's showing them, not showing the stage. No. This is the one.
آپ نے انگلش سننی ہے بہت ساری، اس لیے میں اردو میں بول لیتا ہوں، اس کے بعد پھر انگلش سنیے گا بہت ساری جو سننے والی ہے. جس نام بتایا عمیر حسن، اور یہیں سے بلوچستان سے اپنے کام کا آغاز کیا تھا، یہیں سے کام شروع کیا تھا جب مہد کا وقت تھا، پچھلے اسپیکٹ تھا 2000 کا، اس کے اندر وہیں سے کام کرتے ہوئے باقی جگہوں پر پہنچا. بہت شکریہ آپ کا، نوازش کی آپ لوگوں نے وقت نکالا ہے، آپ آئے ہیں. بہت معذرت چاہتے ہیں تاخیر کی، ہم مسلسل صبح سے 2 دن سے سفر میں تھے، دارالمدین چاقی، اور پھر آج صبح بھی 2 کمیونٹیز تھیں وہاں پر وزٹ کرتے ہوئے ہم یہاں پر شام میں پہنچے ہیں 5 ساڑھے 5 بجے. تو چہروں سے بھی شاید نظر آتا ہو، لیکن اندر تو حالات خراب ہے خاصے. تو یہ تھا کہ اس میں سیٹ اپ کرتے اور کچھ بہتر حالات ہوتے ہوئے ہم کر پائیں. اسلامک ریلیف کا تعلق بہت سارے آپ لوگوں سے ہوگا، موجود ہوگا، لیکن میں دہرائے دیتا ہوں. 1984 میں اسلامک ریلیف جب افریقہ کا فیمن تھا، بہت بڑا، بہت زوردار، اور اس وقت میں یو کے اندر کچھ ایسے طالب علم جو میڈیکل ڈاکٹرز تھے، وہاں سے فارغ ہوئے تھے، اکٹھے تھے، اور انہوں نے اکٹھے ہوتے ہوئے یہ فیصلہ کیا تھا کہ ہم کوئی ایک ایسا سیٹ اپ کریں، ایسی آرگنائزیشن کریں جو مسلمانوں اور غیر مسلموں کے ساتھ مل کر کے وہاں سے فنڈز کو ریز کرے اور پھر لوگوں کی مدد کر سکے. تو یہ سلسلہ 1983 کا ایک چھوٹا سا وہ تھا، 84 میں سیٹ اپ ہوا، اس کے ذریعے سے چیزیں ڈسٹریبیوٹ بھی ہوئی بہت ساری، اور پھر یہ لیگل ایک اینٹیٹی بنتے بنتے تقریباً ارلی 90s کے اندر یہ فل فلیج ایک آرگنائزیشن بن گئی. اور کوئی اور نہیں بلکہ ڈاکٹر ہانی البنا ہی اس کے سب سے پہلے انیشیٹو لینے والے تھے. تو 1983 میں جس نے یہ خواب دیکھا تھا وہ ڈاکٹر ہانی خود تھے. میڈیکل ڈاکٹر ہیں، ادھر ڈاکٹر سے فارغ ہوئے تھے اپنے کالج سے، اور یہ ایک خواب کو دیکھا اور اس کو پھر آگے بڑھایا. اسلامک ریلیف پاکستان کے اندر 1992 میں پھر آئی، اور یہ پھر ان کا ایک خواب ہے، یہ بتاتے آئے ہیں ہر جگہ پہ کہ جہاں پر جب بات ہو رہی تھی کہ جی پاکستان یا پھر ایسے ممالک میں سیٹ اپ کیا جائے ایسی آرگنائزیشن کو، اور یہاں پر ضرورت ہے، تو اس سلسلے میں ڈاکٹر ہانی جو ہیں وہ انہوں نے خواب دیکھا، اور انہوں نے بلوچستان کو سر فہرست دیکھا اس کے اندر کہ یہاں پر سب سے زیادہ ضرورت ہے. انہوں نے پھر کشمیر کو دیکھا اپنے خواب میں، اور یہ ایک سلسلہ ہے اس کے اوپر وہ چلتے آئے. تو اس لیے اس طرح سے ان کا بلوچستان سے اور اسلامک ریلیف کا بلوچستان سے ایک تعلق ہے جو خواب میں بھی تھا اور پھر تعبیر کی صورت میں بھی الحمدللہ اب موجود ہے. ڈاکٹر ہانی کا تعارف اسلامک ریلیف کا یہ کہ اس وقت ہم تقریباً 40 ملکوں میں ہم کام کر رہے ہیں. ہماری جو فنڈ ریزنگ ہے وہ 13 ملکوں میں مختلف جو مسلمانوں اور دوسری جو انسٹیٹیوشنل ڈونرز ہیں، جو ہماری حکومتیں ہیں اشتراکی، ان کے ساتھ ہم کام کر رہے ہیں. تو وہاں سے ہماری میجر فنڈنگ جو ہے وہ ہوتی ہے. پاکستان کے اندر ہم موجود ہیں کشمیر میں، بلوچستان میں. اس وقت ہمارا کے پی کے فاٹک کا جو یہ ٹرائبل ڈسٹرکٹ جو اب ہیں وہ ایک بہت بڑا پروگرام ہے جو ہم سپورٹ کر رہے ہیں. اور اس کے علاوہ ہماری جو کام ہے وہ آرفنز کی کیئر ہے، اور وہ ہمارا کام پنڈی اور کشمیر کے اندر बड़े पैमाने पर जारी है और उसके अंदर हम वुमेन और चाइल्ड डेवलपमेंट के ऊपर इन पर्टिकुलर बात करते हैं। तो ये तारुफ था इस्लामिक लीफ का। डॉक्टर हानी जैसे मैंने बताया मेडिकल डॉक्टर हैं, इस्लामिक लीफ परफॉर्म किया, लेकिन इसके अलावा बहुत सारी ऐसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं जिनके ना सिर्फ फाउंडर हैं बल्कि उनको चलाने वाले भी हैं। उनमें कई नाम हैं। ह्यूमैनिटेरियन फोरम एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है जो वेस्ट के वर्ल्ड को और साउथ को उसने एंगेज किया है, पर्टिकुलरली गल्फ को, क्योंकि गल्फ जो था वो बिल्कुल मेन स्ट्रीम से बाहर था, तो उसको लेकर आना, उसे कनेक्ट करना। और एक बहुत बड़ी ड्राइव थी पिछले 2016 में, उससे पहले वर्ल्ड ह्यूमैनिटेरियन समिट के सूरत में, उसमें डॉक्टर हानी जो हैं वो एक बहुत बड़ा रोल था इनका जो उसमें प्ले किया है। इसके अलावा इदारे हैं जैसे यूके में मुस्लिम चैरिटी फाउंडेशन है, फिर ज़कात फाउंडेशन है, और बहुत सारे ऐसे इदारे हैं जिनके कैटलिस्ट के तौर पर, जिनके एक मुतहर्रिक फ़र्द के तौर पर वहाँ पर मौजूद रहे। तो चूँकि विज़िट के लिए यहाँ आ रहे थे हम दारबंदीन 2 दिन, क्योंकि हमारा वहाँ पे एक अरसे से वहाँ पर काम है, तो वहाँ देखा, उन लोगों से मिले, और यहाँ पर था तो हमने ये प्लान तरतीब दिया कि आप लोगों से मुलाकात भी हो जाएगी और डॉक्टर हानी की जो इनके ख्यालात हैं और जो तजर्बात हैं बिलखुसूस डेवलपमेंट और कोलैबोरेशन फॉर डेवलपमेंट के तनाजुर में, कि वहाँ पे किस तरीके से लोगों ने मिल करके सक्सेसफुल एक्सपीरियंसेस आए हैं और उनको वो फिर हमारे साथ भी शेयर करें, ताकि ना सिर्फ बलूचिस्तान, तो पूरे पाकिस्तान का एजेंडा है, लेकिन बलूचिस्तान में बिलखुसूस के डेवलपमेंट एक सिग्निफिकेंट मैटर है और उसको लेकर के ना सिर्फ NGO चल रही हैं बल्कि पॉलिटिकल भी और समाजी जो कोई भी है वो इस ड्राइव का हिस्सा है। तो इस लिहाज से अब डॉक्टर हानी को मैं दावत दूंगा कि वो आएँ और आकर इसके ऊपर बात करें आपके साथ। कोशिश करेंगे कि हम इस गुफ्तगू को 20-25 मिनट तक रखें और उसके बाद फिर आपका अगर इंटरेक्शन है, आपकी तरफ से कोई सवालात हैं या एक्सपीरियंसेस हैं, यू आर मोर देन वेलकम टू डू सो इंशाल्लाह। Or then we'll try to wind up by hopefully by 9 inshallah, or even before that. So Dr. Hani, it's all yours inshallah.
Alhamdulillah wa sallallahu ala rasulullah. My apology for speaking English. I should speak either Urdu or Baluchi. Is that right? Or Pashtun. To be multilingual. Anyway. So my other apology that my presentation, because my secretary did not send it to me, I have to write something today to have it with us. I am combining 3 topics together because I know that most of you has got very vast experience in the field work and in the local work, national work and the international work. So I cannot lecture you because you are all learned, able, and you can make that change. Development, external relation, and partnership. Let me start with talking about partnership, which is very essential. Partnership is something that we cannot afford not to do it, whether we are the multi-million organization or not. In Europe and America, they have an organization called SCHR. It has the top 13 organizations in the world, including Oxfam, Save the Children, World Vision, Plan, and the others. If you calculate the budget of this organization, it will go rocket high in billions of dollars. But they sit down to coordinate, to communicate, to plan, and make partnership. We cannot afford in our country, Pakistan, not to talk about partnership. Becomes like the kalima. When people come to Islam, they said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu Muhammad Rasulullah. And I have to suspect, through my experience, those individuals who do not want to build partnership with others. Lack of partnership with others means lack of transparency and leading to corruption. Seriously. 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 Now we are facing, if we look only at Balochistan, the size of Balochistan, the drought which is hitting the area, the needs of the people, the distances between the different villages, the difficult road between this village and this village. And I tell you, I'm a big man and a big organization, don't need your partnership. I say, sorry, sir, you are wrong. You cannot do it alone. You cannot do it alone. We have to kill our ego. We have to kill our ego. We have to kill our ego. Because, before I start talking about the talk, we are all servants of those people living in these villages. Whoever would love to work in social work, in community work, in humanitarian work, in development work, he or she has to consider herself a servant. Otherwise, leave out. We don't want you. Because the real owner of the money, which is paid as salaries, are those people who have been visiting over the last 2 days. It's not World Bank. It's not the government. It's not the donor. It is this individual who does not have clean water to drink, does not have a clinic in the field, does not have a school for his children or her children. So let us stand on a principle. The one who owns the money is this individual, the young girl or the young boy or the elderly or the woman who are spending their money on our salaries. If we agree, you can go forward. So ego should not be and never will be on the table of any humanitarian, development worker, and social worker. How to build partnership? First of all, you have to build partnership with your own team, with your own staff. First, to treat them with dignity, with respect and honor, and to value their contribution, whether they are partners, cleaners, drivers, or whatever you call it. Second is the other organization around us. Cannot afford not to make partnership with the local, you call it CBOs or CSOs, or this community-based organization, plus other organization. Then the local government should not shy from building partnership with the local government. Then the businessmen and the donors. Then the central government, because if you want money from you, PPAF, we have to go to Islamabad, because they are very close to the central government. Then media. How can we build partnership with media? Then the embassies in the capital city. Then the representation of the international organization, such as UN, ECHO, and DFID, and others in our city. Then the bigger organization abroad, then the foreign government, then the international agencies working there. So building partnership as like you are building fortress around you. 1 layer, 2 layers, 3 layers, 4 layers, 5 layers. Build as many as you can to be protected. Partnership is a protection. It's not vulnerability. Partnership is about how to save money, to save effort, and to have bigger impact. Partnership is I take my logo. Let me give you an example. Maybe Brother Umair was talking about the World Humanitarian Summit. We made a consultation with PPAF 3 years ago in Islamabad. To build this consultation, Humanitarian Forum made 39 consultations in 36 countries in less than 1.5 years. All done with partnership with the local organization. From Tunisia to Saudi Arabia to Egypt to Pakistan to Afghanistan to Bangladesh to Sri Lanka, South Africa, Kuwait, Bahrain, Emirates, all those. We could not have made 39 consultations in 36 countries in less than 1.5 years. This was based on partnership. Tripartite partnership, Humanitarian Forum, local organization, and UN OCHA. This is a practical example. Practical example. That's why they were treating us high in this summit, which happened 2 years ago in Istanbul. So I'm going to link the partnership to development and the external relationship. The three have to go together. If you tell me about external relationship, I will say my experience. We started to open the doors of Islamic relief 10 years before September 11. When the sun was shining, the atmosphere is good, there is no Islamophobia, less Islamophobia, there is no counter-terrorism, there is no, all this. We managed to be known to the international community because we opened the door. We did not use the closed door policies. No. That's why when September 11 came, in spite of the fact we had a big office, we're still having it, in America, okay? Investigation happened, of course, to all the Muslim organizations, but Islamic Relief is still now a $70 million organization. Because of what? Because you open the door. Because you attend conferences. Because you build relationship. Because we understand the language, the spoken language in the international media, as well as with the international community. Because we know the humanitarian principles and we follow them. Because we know what we are talking about. We represent the local community. And we defend the local community. Because we started to employ not only Muslims, but non-Muslims as well, inside an organization called Islamic Relief. From the day one, 1991, 92, we have those people working for Islamic Relief. Even my two advisors in advocacy were Shia brothers. One of them was from Azerbaijan, the other one from Pakistan. We don't have any of these kind of barriers which we build because we do not open up to the greater community, the humanitarian community that we are having and the people that we serve. So external relations is protection. I said partnership is protection. External relation is about how to know or to be known by others who can talk about you in their private meetings. I give an example. When September 11 happened, we had built a relationship with something organization called CAFOD, Catholic Aid for Overseas Development, which is representative of the Catholic Church, sister of Caritas. But we built it is about 1997, 1998. So we visited them in the office, they visited us, then we started to have an MOU to try to agree on the area that we are going to work together. We excluded Sudan, because at that time there was a conflict between Muslim and Christian. But we managed to work where, suggestion, they supported our operation in Afghanistan in 2002. At the time of the war in 2001 and 2002. Then we supported them in other areas, like Guatemala, like Goma, was a volcano there. So we agreed not to work in Sudan. Why? Because it's a conflict at that time between what's called Muslims and Christians. But we agreed to work in different areas. And they put the money for us in Afghanistan, and we put the money for them in Guatemala. It doesn't matter how much is the money, but this is the protection. When they were talking about Islamic Relief in UK, in London, and privately, behind our back, they were defending us. They were saying, no, they are not what you think, they are not what you think, they are not what you think. You know why? Not because we just shook hands with them, but because they knew us 2-3 years before September 11th. So when you extend your relationship with anybody and everybody. This actually happened with the British government as well. When we're opening the doors, because David funding us. Before David was called Overseas Development Administration. ODA. I'm not sure if you remember something called ODA, Overseas Development Administration. Yes, you don't know? It was a very small department in the Foreign Office. But when we started to build this relationship, our big project came where? Any suggestion? In 1990, what is Umair? Imo, do you want me to give them the answer or let them to think about it? 97, 98. It was in Kashmir. How much Umair was it? Can you remember? It was 700,000 pounds. Even the minister, she told the DFID office in Islamabad, she was told by them, they don't have a big capacity. They said, we trust them. We know them. They are not going to use the money for the wrong reason. They will build their capacity. And started from Kashmir. Then it went to Shaman Camp. You remember Shaman Camp? Shaman Camp, Brother Umair? In 2001. And 2001, £1 million for the operation in Shaman Camp. But we built the relationship with the government before the war in Afghanistan happened. This is what we need. We don't have anything to hide. Why we shy out? We represent the most vulnerable people. We have to be vocal and speak loudly on this. So partnership, as I was talking about, then external relation is very important. You know why, brothers and sisters? Because the wealth of knowledge you have and the experience you have is more than you can imagine. The value of it is incredible. We don't know how to sell it. We don't know how to classify it. We don't know how to manage it. You know why Google and what's the other one, Facebook and the others, making these tens of billions of dollars? Because they manage the information we give them. That's why they made the billions. We have a lot of information, a lot of experience, but how to manage it, how to store it, how to sell it, and how to classify it, and how to speak about it. If I can ask each and every one of you, with the wealth of knowledge you have, it's incredible. Incredible. The achievement you have done is incredible. But we are not good salesmen. We are not good communicators. Those people look at us because we don't speak English. I was in Azerbaijan 2 weeks ago. A humanitarian conference was organized under the auspices of the Excellency, the President of the country. I met a great woman. Great, with the meaning of great. You know what's their only problem? They don't speak English. They speak Azari or Russian or Turkish, understand. But they don't speak the international language. But the achievement and the vision and the dimension of thinking of this woman is and was incredible. So this kind of stars, we need to put them on the international arena. And it's our duty to look at the second generation. We can train them while we are in the top position in the organization, whether chairman or CEO. I have to be surrounding myself with the younger generation who will take it forward for the coming 50 years. I will make a challenge now. Can you invite me to your house after 50 years, sir?
If I'm alive, yes. Why not?
You will, inshallah.
Inshallah.
And what will you cook for me?
Whatever you like.
No, the best food you like. Okay. Rice? Of course, rice. and and dal. I love dal. By the way, dal is my favorite, not the meat. Very good. So what I'm talking about, the generation to come, I have to plan for their arrival when I took them by the hand, like my sons, like my daughters. If you know the head of DFID in KPK, he's one of the young Islamic relief workers. As a university student, then alhamdulillah now he is. Have people went to the United Nations, people want to become CEO of different organizations. Because we took them by the hand when we are still healthy, strong, and we injected them with the information. And this is the role of pioneers sitting in this room amongst you. Prepare the generation to come, not only for the organization, for our community, for our area, and for our country, and for humanity. Keep creating future leaders, and be happy to see the success while you are still in your position and when you give them the leadership status. When I left Islamic Relief 2008, I don't know how many million was it, people thought if somebody successful organization leave, that maybe must be something wrong happened. Either he is stolen some money or he has fiddling with a relationship with women. Alhamdulillah, I came out clean. Very sound and strong organization, and I treat all the women as my daughters because all of them are younger than myself. Okay, so leave the organization when it talks about you in a nice way, not when people lock the door behind you and throw something at your back and said never come back. But we need to prepare the future generation. Okay. How many minutes now? Because I don't want to talk. I want to have interaction.
Take your time.
Yeah, but take your time to win, because those great people in the room are more knowledgeable than myself.
10 minutes.
To talk again for 10 minutes? Okay.
You don't want to.
No. My message is, you are more Baluchi than myself, but I'll challenge you. I became Baluchi now, especially because I'm in Baluchistan. I'm Pakistani as well, because I have to honor the people who built the organization who started in 1984, as Brother Umair was talking about. It was your community in London, in Birmingham, in Manchester, who gave the money, understood, unemployed, the elderly, the pensioner. All those people were the foundation of this organization. That's why when I met the Queen in 2004, I was wearing shirwan and kameez. I was not wearing the normal suit for the European or the Egyptian. Even I have been criticized by people, you are not a Pakistani, you are not Asian, even you are African. I said, but we have to honor the people who led this organization to grow fast and effective. Coming back to you as people who have mission, who have vision, have message to deliver, and believe in your country. What we need is to create the power through creating leadership in the generation to come, from the young men and women, and to empower them. I'm very happy today to see quite a few number of women in the room. Excellent. To conclude, in my metaphor, because when I'm in a plane, I don't have anything to do, I write. And Allah give me the ability. Definition of development is a change from negative to positive, from destruction to construction, from ignorance to education, from sickness to health. You have to make a change. Development is not about a project I'm going to please a donor. No. It's about knowledge. It's about empowerment. It's about ownership. Empowerment of whom? Of the local community. Ownership of whom? Of the local community. This is development that we need to have. One of the outcomes of the recommendation of World Humanitarian Summit was localization. I love it. To be on the top of the agenda. Localization, localization, localization. Let us build a strong local community. Strong local organization. And let us invest in its empowerment. And making them to be able to understand how they connect, they communicate, They write projects, they evaluate the project, and involve them from the planning to not only to the execution of the project, but to the review and accountability on the donor and the organization themselves. So partnership for me is many things make the positive change. The simplest way is we have to make a positive change. We're talking about some villages that we visited yesterday and the day before yesterday, yesterday and today. By having one well, water, and this solar system there, this encouraged people to come to live in this village. We saw a village which have just a primary school, encouraged women to send their children. Even they send their children alone to have the primary education. This is a positive change. Just a school, just a class. Okay? And this is what we need to treat development. And I am not trying to preach to the converted. You know it better than myself. Okay? But what I am talking about, partnership and the external relation, is the protection of the process of development. And this is the foundation of the sustainable growth of organization and the sustainability of the organization. And the existence of such organization for a very long time to come, like we agreed to meet in 2068. Then, yeah, 2068, you and me, and sister said dal and rice, and no meat, huh? No meat. We're vegetarian. Keep the animals happy. Because the animals, when Qurbani came, when Eid al-Adha comes, all the animals cry, go, 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 keep away from me. And we decorate them, we put them flowers on them, then we slaughter them to eat them. So I'm going to stop because I would like to receive some comments from you or some questions, and I am a relief worker or social worker. وجزاكم الله خير والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Yes, sister.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hany El Banna, founder Islamic Relief. I would like to share that we have representation from different line departments and public and private institutes, and we have representation from Environmental Protection Agency, Director General Environmental Protection Agency, Captain Taib Zaisa. Thank you very much for joining us. We have representation from Agriculture Extension, Agriculture Research Department, Director General Agriculture Research Javed Tainsa. Thank you very much. And Director General Bluchistan Agriculture Research and Development Center, Dr. Hanan Burrosa. And we have MBA Washuk, Mr. Sardar Zabit Rekhi sir, thank you very much for joining. And we have Ms. Roshan Guruja, thank you very much for coming. And I hope I'm not missing anyone. And we have representation.
Secretary Public Health.
Yes, I'm sorry. We have Secretary Public Health, Mr. Abdul Fattah sir, and we have representation from Academia, University of Balochistan, and Sardar Bahadur Khan Women University, Beetham's University, and line departments including agriculture, extension, and agriculture, water management, engineering, and irrigation. And we have civil representation from civil society, including WES organization, PPF, BRSP, IDSP, and we have representation from Social Welfare Department, and I'm sorry if I've missed something, host organization, and representation from media as well. So we have very enriched participation in this room, and now the forum is open for your experience sharing, and particularly in the context of Balochistan, I would really like to share your experiences and needs to Dr. Hany El Banna. Thank you very much.
Jazakallah khair. Don't be shy to ask me any question. I get used to answer some questions, if I can. Yes, come on, brother. You want to stand here or here? It's up to you.
Yes.
Because there's a microphone here.
Thank you for your nice presentation. and also
So it's my secretary who let me down.
the existence of your organization in Balochistan is a very good fortune for Balochistan. And your team is working here is very good team. They are very sincere with the Balochistan, and I have been involved in the several interventions of your organization in Balochistan. Being Director General Agriculture Research Balochistan, we are promoting low water requiring crops because this the agriculture sector is the mainstay of this province. As there no industry in the Balochistan, so this one is the only mainstay of this province. So we have to look and work on this sector. So your organization, the setup is very much involved in drought-stricken area of Balochistan. But I would suggest that not only in a few districts, the rest of districts should also be covered in that. And we do have some research technologies of our own research institute, and also applied research is there. And we have made it successful in the Balochistan. There are about 17 districts of Balochistan. I would like to mention here the olives crop. Olives, which is new crop for Balochistan. And this is the crop of the Mediterranean region. But in Balochistan, we are growing it successfully. But as you know, the government setup, we don't have that much cushion, both financially and manpower. We can't take it to every farmer of the province. So we would expect from your organization to work in this side. We do have other low water requiring crops also in the drought scenario. We can promote it. So this will alleviate the poverty in the province, inshallah. And we are also working with PPF. We have gone under the one MOU with them also. So they have agreed with us to work on this crop. There are other crops also. The door is open for you.
Inshallah, Jazakallah khair. I would love to work in not every district or in every village of Balochistan, inshallah. And we are fighting very hard for putting Balochistan on the international arena for development. We are doing our best, and to be very honest, maybe Umair and Brother Ali know that I've been, since I came here the first time, 2001, at the time of the war in Afghanistan, and I've been waiting a long time to come here. But before 2001, it was my dream to come to Balochistan, because I knew as an individual and the need. Problem with development and poverty alleviation, it does not attract, especially the community, the ordinary donors. What we've been discussing yesterday, how to utilize the youth of Pakistan and shift them to let them to go and be exposed to this area. We've got 200 million plus. At least 50 to 60 million of them are young, able, bright individuals. We need to let them to live the issue of Balochistan and the other country, and the others, not countries, and other areas in the country. We will do our best through Muslim Child's Forum, or through Humanitarian Forum, or through Islamic Relief. But unfortunately, the international community is driven by the disasters. Disaster, Myanmar, influx of refugees, about 1.2 million in Bangladesh. Syria, 7 million displaced inside, about 6 or 7 million outside. Yemen, as you can see, the disaster in Yemen is incredible disaster. Don't want to politicize it because it's already politicized. Iraq, 3 million internally displaced, or 2.6 million internally displaced people inside Iraq. The conflict in the South Sudan between the tribal people and the West Africa drought and others. So we are competing for Balochistan on the international level. What we need to convince our diaspora community in Canada, we have a conference call with them tonight, in America, in UK, to shift from relief into development and poverty alleviation. And we'll do that. It's difficult, but we have to do that, inshallah. And we'll be with you, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Yes, brother. You can say your organization and...
I am from irrigation department.
Bismillah, mashallah. I love agriculture, by the way. I'm a medical doctor, but I love agriculture.
Brother,
Yeah.
you can't separate us.
No, you can't.
We cannot.
You marry them.
But what I'm going to tell you is what I'm going to ask you
Yes.
for drinking water.
Yes.
Minimum cost, because now we are talking about Gawadar all the time, Gawadar, Gawadar, Gawadar. If you develop Gawadar for drinking purpose, industrial purpose, all these small clusters will all join together and come to Gawadar. We will not be able to control Gawadar. You globally have more vision than us. There is a small instrument which is known as water netting, which needs 30% minimum moisture in the air. You can net it and you can get that droplets into the drums, and the small clusters of our population which is scattered in Gawadar, where the moisture content is more than 70%. You can make these clusters live in their own area. So I would like you to help us in these small clusters of the population living in Gawadar to settle wherever they are if we provide them clean drinking water, which is minimum cost is water netting.
Jazakallah khair. You want to answer?
On the spot, probably it's difficult to do that, but obviously in saying Chaghi, when we went in, and the purpose was also that the displacement is not good for anyone. It has psychological, it has financial losses for everyone, the families, and we have seen back in 2000 as well. So what you need to do is provide that basic necessities. And water becomes the first ever necessity. If you talk to community, water becomes the first thing. So you rightly mentioned water as a pull factor for community to stay in their own locations. We have not thought about Gawadar as such, and has not been part of our strategic planning until now. But if this is something which is from our partners, from the government of Pakistan, government of Balochistan, something comes up, we could look into this. And then as part of our expansion as well, we've been working in the Baloch districts until now, but we have plans for Quetta and the other parts of Balochistan province as well. So Gawadar could feature into that. So we take that on board. And we'll plan accordingly, inshallah. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair. You can be here. First time to visit Somalia, for me it was 2005. It was a no-go area. And in a town called Garawi in Puntland, our plane landed because we have to charter a plane to go around the north of Somalia, Kenya, and South Sudan. And when we landed, we had representation from different ministries. And each one of them was talking about the need of his ministry. But the question was to support what you are talking about. We have only $100,000 for only one project. You have to agree on such a project. Each one of them said water, 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 water. The most attractive factor of people staying anywhere is water. Even when we digging the wells in South Sudan, in a place called Warab in Wow, an area totally not Muslims, either atheist or Christian. And when we met the governor of the area, he said that you people sorted out nearly 30% of the need of the whole district. When we were digging one of the wells, you can imagine, the women were actually making this, I don't know what it was in Pakistan. What do you do it? You do it? We do it. Yani, Arab culture. Okay, fine. What you do in the wedding?
firing.
This is not Arab culture. Okay. And they were actually very joyful because they are going not to walk for miles to feed the animal and to have clean water. The same happened to us when we went to Kashmir 1997, 1998 in Balandri and Rawalakot. And because we found that the young girls cannot go to school because every day she goes down and up and down the mountain 5-6 times. There's no time for school. And when we built these water tanks on the top of the mountain in Balandri and Rawalakot, everybody was happy. Not because it's Islamic relief. It's a partnership with the local community. They contribute 30%. We made 70% of the cost of the water tanks, which they build it themselves. This is important. This is important. This is important. Water is number one. After that, we can go to education. After that, we can go to health. After that, we can go to local market and what do you call it, microfinance or livelihood program. I mentioned education. I said after water, I mentioned education. Thank you, sir. Any more difficult question? Come, brother. Yeah, you can take one or two.
We'll take one from the table and then we'll come back again to this table, please. Please introduce yourself.
Bring the microphone closer to you, please. Bring it to closer to you. Yeah. No, it's working. It's working. It is. I can hear you. No. Give. Yeah, give.
Dr. Hany, I have a couple of comments, one for you personally, and second comment is for all. Thank you very much for your very interactive and informal talk, and you shared your first-hand information in a very appropriate way. But as far as I know, the Egyptians, their sense of humor is world-renowned. So I was expecting something, more informal. Apart from that, yes, no doubt. When you talk about development, when you go for the collaboration, so it is sort of hard task for you whenever you are in a situation or in a place like Pakistan. And in Pakistan, when you are in Balochistan, we used to call it, not now. I guess after CPAC the situation has changed, a bit changed. We used to call Balochistan the underdeveloped area of underdeveloped country. But I personally feel like that whenever we talk about the relief, the emergency, the aid given to the people, those who are suffered by the disasters or the emergencies, I mean the development organizations are those who are busy in this field for the sake of development. We are always reactive. Why not proactive? I mean, Islamic relief, we hear about you that you are providing the sort of incentives and sort of relief funds and other commodities to the people. Why not we go for, this is a generic comment for all of those who are involved in the development sector. Why not we go for the proactive developmental activities? Like, I give you an example. One of my colleagues is sitting here in University of Balochistan. I'm from academia. I'm sorry, I could not introduce myself. I'm Dr. Zahur Bazai, and I'm from University of Balochistan. One of my colleagues, he is heading the disaster department in University of Balochistan. So research opportunities are there. Why not the development as well as the government agencies, they join hand with us. We can go for the triple helix theory. We can have a collaboration, a triangle between the industry, academia and government. So I guess this is the time we must go for the development sector and in collaboration in the sense that we must be more proactive as compared to reactive. Thank you very much.
Jazakallah. I will The most difficult task in front of all of us as fundraisers is to raise funds for development. The easiest task is to raise funds for relief. And this is not only the Muslims or the people from the East. It's a nature. It's a natural thing in our hearts. Whether we are from America, or from Europe, or from Pakistan, or from Middle East, or whatever it is. The easy thing. What we need to develop, which this is a theory which I was trying, you can help me because you are academia. I'm a street worker. I'm not academia like you. I cannot rise to your level of intellectuality. To have fatwa, any imams here or sheikh? But I'm mufti in social work. I'm not mufti in religious work. I am mufti in social work. Okay? Not religious work. All right? So don't sentence me. I am responsible as a development worker to empower community, to enable the community. What I want from this multi-billion-dollar budget of humanitarian response, a cut to start building the local community and to be like a system. Allah has created us to help people, but I'm not responsible to feed everybody. My responsibility is to empower the local community and let them to prevent the disaster happening to them again. And this is what we need to advocate. Development is about advocacy. Development is about building partnership with, I don't know how many civil society organizations here. They have to sit down together and decide on a project in a certain area and put the money and the expertise on the table from each one of them. This is what the other people are doing. That's why you might find a project could cost $100 million. The money is being paid by 20 or 15 organizations. Let me give you a practical example which you have done in Humanitarian Forum two years ago. When before the World Humanitarian Summit happened in May 2016, that the UN is not going to do it again. Because we have heard from certain governments that they don't want to sit down with any local NGOs. That's why the representation of the governments to the World Humanitarian Summit in Istanbul 2 years ago was about 50 to 60 countries. Maybe half of them or three-quarters of them are represented by ministers or civil servants. We decided to make our dream, which we call it World Humanitarian Action Forum. You know, brother, professor, and to all of you, the idea was our idea. The effort was our effort. The money was our money. But when we organized the conference last year, I think Qazi Isa was there with us in London. When we organized the conference, we did not put Humanitarian Forum name on the table. But we made it as a partner. And this is where the ego. And the brother who from Humanitarian Forum was organizing it wanted to put his title in Humanitarian Forum. Said, no, don't put your title as Humanitarian Forum. Make your title as World Humanitarian Action Forum, which is include everybody. There was 35 international organizations helping, funding, organizing. We give them the ownership from day one. And the name of Humanitarian Forum was not there. It was just one of the 35 names. This is where you would love to start creating your development program. When I, as a chairman or a president or a CEO, don't have this ego to my organization. How big is my logo? Is my logo in the front page or the back page? Doesn't make any difference. Most important than me as a president, or you as a chairman, or she as a CEO, is the people that you would like to get the clean water with what is the system called? Water netting. I need to kiss your head because I have never heard this name before. Water netting. Okay. Jazakallah khair. I am learning. I came here to learn, but to be very honest, unless we sit down and we look objectively at the issue, at Pakistan as an issue, at Kashmir as an issue, as Balochistan as an issue, as KPK as an issue, as poverty as an issue, as deprivation as an issue, as orphans as an issue, we are not going to succeed in development. Because the other organizations are very attracted to humanitarian response. Because humanitarian response does not build society. Let me tell you a verse from the Quran for the alim in the room with us. In Surah Al-Ma'un, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, very dynamic word, 1400 years ago plus. أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ. Who is the one who denies the day of judgment? Is the one, first of all, who treat the orphan badly. ذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُ الْيَتِيمِ. Get out, you sticky, young, miserable boy or girl. وَلَا يَحُضْ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. You know the had in Arabic, what does it mean? Is advocacy. If we don't do advocacy, we'll be considered by Allah like those people who deny the day of judgment. Go back to these verses in Surah Ma'un. And the had could be to spread the news of the needs of the needy and to protect the most vulnerable, which is the young orphan. This is what we need to educate our donors. We cannot educate our donors, brothers and sisters in this room, unless we sit down and do make this kind of concerted effort by all of us. It has to be all of us. So the government will listen, the World Bank will listen, the other big organization will listen, the foreign organization will listen, because they listen to the collective. It's not about competing for the fund. When we were trying to train the Syrian organization in Turkey, they have more than 2,000 organizations started working in Turkey. They were not looking at the main objective. Most of them were looking at how much money I can get from this donor. And especially when we used to bring somebody from Middle East and Gulf, they come. Because that he's coming from Kuwait or from Saudi, he must have money. Let's go to attend the workshop. There's no money. It's about collective. You can do wonders when you bring the collective together, inshallah. Any other question?
Can I have a mic? I have to answer it. You put a question.
Thank you.
Answer it.
Yes, I would like to add, and I'll come back to you. I would like to
She is the boss.
I'm just moderating it.
No, you are the boss.
Thank you. I just would like to add something to Dr. Hany's discussion. Recently we conducted a workshop. It was basically with the collaboration of Bidham's University, Environmental Sciences Department, and Dr. Zohar Parisi was also invited in that. And the purpose of conducting these workshops, particularly with academia, is one of the purposes behind engaging the academia is basically I have learned from my seniors and my teacher from Disaster Management Department of University of Balochistan, who often say that research, development without research becomes obsolete. And we are following that as well, and we are trying to integrate the line departments, the civil society and academia. And we really want to explore some significant researches from academia so that we could discuss with line departments that how these researches, these hands-on information, facts and figures can be incorporated in the policy development and implementation frameworks. And for that, we have recently signed MOU with PDMA, and we are expecting to have DRR forum, which will be inclusive of academia representation of academia, civil society, and line departments. And the purpose of this DRR forum will be to have an integrated approach, and we would really look forward to have multi-sectoral integrated plans where representation of all academia will be will also be there. And secondly, we have recently contacted academia, the existing universities in Balochistan, University of Balochistan, Bhutan's, even Agriculture College and Sardar Bahadur Khan Women University, to share their research work with us, and we can see that how that research work can be put up to different platforms. Even I have sent emails to all the department heads. Hope I have share your concern, and we are really hopeful that with collaboration and with integration, we'll be able to achieve the goals.
Can I have a mic? I want to ask. I'm sorry, I will answer your question. I am also running a project of 100 dams from irrigation department. We have the first hydropower.
She wants to talk.
Wali Tangi. The electrical department of the IT university is involved. We refuse the consultant that you will not design. Our university students and our department will design the hydropower unit, which is 1/4 of the actual cost which was given. The second is the Khujda Engineering University. We are making a dam at Khujda, the first, not the first, but the biggest gravity dam. The civil engineering final year students are doing the geotech survey for us in that dam. They are fully involved. Again, consultant has been put aside. Third is water netting, which we are taking part in, but the Water Resources University at Uttar, the professors and the students are helping us in that by getting the materials. So we and the academia are together.
Jazakallah khair. May Allah bless you, inshallah. So let me come back to this research. Research sometimes could be expensive. So what we want to do is 5-6 organizations share the idea of the research so the research could be done. It doesn't have to be a burden on only one organization. It could be done, and this is what we've been doing actually to cut down the burden of the cost of research on certain subjects. So maybe hand in hand for research, because we cannot, I'm telling you, brothers, sisters, I don't like to say I'm telling you, I'm struggling to raise fund for development, for advocacy, and for research. The mindset of the donors is not in this area, unfortunately. So we have to put hands in hands together to do it.
Thank you very much. We'll have, yes, Ms. Roshi Buruja would like to share some with the audience, and we'll have a working dinner where we'll have opportunity to discuss more and more with each other. So I would like to invite Ms. Roshi Buruja.
First of all, Dr. Hany, I was always longing to know who the relief founder of the Islamic Relief was, and so nice to meet you today. And knowing your work from 2004, what you have done in Balochistan, and today seeing you, I feel after listening to your talk, PPF, being chair to the PPF, I think PPF is in the right direction when we are listening to you. That PPF also, you must have met Qadi Asman, that we also work with the community, we work with the partner organization, and that shows that we are in the right direction when we listen to you, that you said it's always nice to work with the partners and that the local community should be involved. And that is what PPF is doing. They're involving all the local community because the strength is the community. If the community is there, the strength develops there. And of course, the sustainability also remains if we involve the community in it. At present, we are also working with line departments like PHE and education and all. You were talking about the youth. I personally, that's my personal experience, and what personally I would like to say, that the youth, I feel, should be more involved in technical. Because like everybody is looking towards government, and government cannot give job to everybody. So, to take them towards their self-employment, I think for them technical training are very, very important. Coming to the orphan children, I have my board member also sitting in the back. We have an orphan institution known as the SOS Village, and if you have time and if you visit, we'll be so very happy. And we really salute you for all the good work which you are doing, and God stay blessed and continue the good work. And I'm sure after listening to you, we will follow your footsteps.
You have to promise money because she's World Bank, huh?
I'm misrepresented, yeah. So first of all, I would like to comment about your not being the Mufti. Anybody who's from Jamiatul Azhar is a great Mufti for us.
Not me.
And that means you are a Mufti for us.
No way, no way.
Anyway, so my comment was the government entities are all around over here. They're more than willing to work and they have their existence in the areas like drought affected areas, disaster ridden areas, but there is no money. And government of Balochistan in specific, government of Pakistan in a broader way, they don't have money at all for the development works. To be told frankly, everybody knows that. While you were saying, you said you work with the strategy of open doors, but I have never ever seen any exterior donor like DFID. They have their great existence in UK and Oxfam UK. So why don't you collaborate with UK, Oxfam and DFID and other organizations? Why do we only collaborate with the Muslim philanthropists? You should open the doors towards them for development.
Okay. The question is, why shouldn't we open for Muslim philanthropists?
Oxfam and all.
Huh?
Oxfam.
Of course. So everyone. Collaboration is for everybody. When you talk about, I did not want to talk about the experience of one organization because it would be boring. But Islamic Relief, which is represented by Umair and the sister, has a very good and partnership with Oxfam, with Save the Children, with Christian Aid, with Scaffold, with World Vision, with Lutheran churches in Geneva, and. When I was president, we signed an MOU with UNHCR, with the World Food Program, and with others. So we used to be invited by the World Bank in Washington to speak there. At the time of Wolfson, I got two. One is Wolf and one is Wolfson. One of them was sacked, the other one was a good one. I don't know which one of them, I can't remember. We used to go to Washington to talk about actually the humanitarian work. So we opened the door. I think what we are trying to say, we're a little bit scared of the cultural barrier, of the language barrier, and of the perception that those people coming here because they want to change our culture and spoil our women and spoil our youth. If we are strong enough and educate our women and our youth, nobody will spoil them. Nobody will spoil them. Because woman in society is my wife, is my daughter, is my sister, is my mother, and I have to empower her. And the best supporter for the Prophet ﷺ from day one was Bibi Khadija. Financer, lobbyist, advocate, and she took him as a wife, she took him as a colleague, she took him as a believer. She was the first woman to embrace Islam. And she was the first one to become Muslim as well. This is the role of women. So we have to educate them to let anybody, any foreigner, it could be myself, who's trying to spoil the culture in Balochistan or in Kashmir. Don't duck me because I'm a Muslim, I'm a good guy. There's some Muslims like myself, I'm saying it, I'm just talking about myself as a bad guy, could come and spoil the culture, could come and impose a culture which is not suitable for the local community on you, could come and bring different fiqh which is not suitable for the society, unfortunately. So it's not only the non-Muslims who can spoil the culture, but also the Muslims can do the same. So let us talk about how can we come as collective to work together and be able to protect ourselves. Let me conclude by letting Umair to stand up, please. How old are you now?
45.
45. He started working in Islamic Relief at the age of what?
It was 25.
25. 1999, 1998, 2000. And now he is the country director. He learned the difficult way. That's what I'm saying. While you are here, bring future leadership. Train them, empower them, put them on a platform. How many countries you have visited and be in charge of before you become the country director?
15.
At least 15 countries. Was put in different countries, traveling here and there. There was no barrier because the talent is here. The innovation is here. The vision is here. Don't get somebody like myself coming by a parachute. See, you know the discussion which happened between you and me and and Ali 2 days ago, I was trying to invent a solution for the problem of the villager. You can say it in Urdu if you want. Okay. And tell them, why don't you make local market and people walk from this village to this village? And they were resisting because what's this man talking about? But they were very polite. And when I visited the villages yesterday and today, I found that I am putting unrealistic solution because of the road condition, because of the number of the people in the village, because of the distance between village and others. It cannot be done. Could be done in Syria, could be done in Middle East, but not here. We have to find another solution. So solution is local, innovation is local, and development is local. جزاكم الله خير. May Allah bless you inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much, Doctor. One last point from Agriculture Research and Development.
Yeah, my name is Nadeem Sadiq and I am working as Director of Natural Resources in Balochistan Agriculture Research Center, which was formerly Arid Zone Research Institute, Arid Zone Research Center in Quetta. So I am basically a researcher, engineer and researcher, and I have an experience of working in the field. What I will try to explain is that what are my observations in Balochistan and what are requirements. First of all, I will thank you to Dr. Hany El Banna for very nice speech on collaboration for development. Very informative. So what I understand in the present situation of Balochistan is, and what will be in near future, that we have to work on water, as you have already told. It should be our main necessity, and we have to work right from now. So, speaking technically, what I have observed in my experience, that we lost all the water. Without that, we are facing shortage of water. We deliberately lost all the water. We have about 12 to 13, about 14 million acre feet of water. You will explain in detail. About 14 million acre feet of water, which is annually fall on the lands of Balochistan province, and which runs away. We can't harvest them. Most of the water is run in the sea, in Afghanistan, in Punjab, and on the sea. So what I think, what is the future need of Balochistan? We have to, individually we have to go, at last we have to harvest the water, rainwater harvest, and we have to cultivate it on crops. Our experience shows that if something like such a kind of project is developed by Islamic Relief, we are willing to help you. And as per Asian Development Bank in 2012 and 14, Dr. Shahid Ahmed was here, but he worked that these are his figures, that this water is lost and ultimately we have to come here because we have in order to survive the Balochistan.
Jazakallah khair.
Basically, DC would like us to explore some opportunity regarding water harvesting and water reservoirs. Okay, we'll definitely look into that. And I would also like to share that from Chari, Mr. Qadir Muhammad Hasni has joined us, and thank you for his presence and his time. And we do have Mr. Ghafoor Agha from Education Department. So in a minute or so, the dinner will be served. And for the vote of thanks, I would like to thank you very much, Dr. Hany.
Sure.
Any other comment, or we'll conclude with dinner? I would like to invite Mr. Ali Dost, Area Program Manager for Balochistan, for the vote of thanks.
Thank you. As a matter of respect.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Dr. Hany sir, Country Director, Islamic Relief, Pakistan, Mayor Ghazi, distinguished guests, on behalf of Islamic Relief Balochistan, I would like to thank all of you for being here, for your participation, for everything. आप लोगों को बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. मिन्नतवार. Thank you.
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. डिनर जो है वो यहीं पर ही सर्व हो
Can
जाएगा.
we finish and can you press finish and post or share?
The floor is still
Finish.
open.
Yeah, finish,
and
finish.
we are here to respond. Thank you very much.
Share, 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 share. Share, 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 share. Okay, that's done. And the same. Ask him to do it. Do it. Finish and share.